today I'm going to share, how I managed to, find out my passion of teaching, and how can you also can find out about your passion. And well, if you already know your passion, then how you can go deeper with this, because it's going to be a journey. Knowing your passion is one hurdle or one challenge, and then sustaining it, as they say, becoming rich is challenging, but sustaining to be rich is a bigger challenge. So yeah, if you know your passion, how to go deeper with it and how to monetize is something I would cover during this session. These are just mere questions. You look at them and say, maybe I've seen this question. They will just stay that way if that's the way you perceive these questions to be. Or if you become serious about these questions and you go like, these questions can craft a new design of life for me, or a new career for me, or it will lead me to a place where I can make money enjoying what I do. Simple as that. Okay. Some of our students had some amazing breakthroughs in answering these questions, with obviously where the space is created for them, where the music is high, they have gone through a certain process, in the evening, the night before they come to this exercise, that they understand, their self-worth at a very high level. They are madly, deeply in love for the person they have. They have done this forgiveness process. They have played a very powerful ship theme-based game where it shakes them up at a whole different level. And now I think they are very much courageous and opened up to the possibility they can see. These questions, will make more sense to people who can vision the future, sitting right now in their space and saying, I'm not there right now yet, but I will get there in the next couple of years. It's all in your mind here, okay? So if you imagine, let's say you wake up tomorrow and you imagine maybe it's ancestral property you acquire, or you get a message from somebody, somewhere, and they say, every month your living cost is paid for. Let's say, for me, if it's 5,000 pounds a month, they say, for 5,000 pounds per month, 60,000 pounds per year, and all the way, till 30, another 40 years I will live, it's all paid for. If you wake up tomorrow and your living cost, your monthly, daily, weekly, yearly living cost has been paid for as a source coming from somewhere, what would you be doing in the real sense, in a productive way? What will be your offer to the world? What would you like to do, in terms of your interest, your passion, a cause you want to stand for? Who do you like to help? What do you like to create in the world? What legacy you would like to leave, before you take an exit from this planet Earth? Oh yeah, that's correct. You heard me all this, say all these great things. Yeah, you must think. You must think, what legacy would I leave, and how can I leave this world in a better place, or how would I like to see this world to be when my daughter grows up, to be an adult and probably grows up to be, in my age or whatever. Yeah, that's the way, I vision my future. So this is very, very powerful question. It can be, reframed in different ways. If money was not a concern, what would you be doing? That's the way you can frame it. Or let's say, if you wake up tomorrow and there is no concern of making money because your living has been paid for, what would you be creating, in your productive world? Some people say, I would do nothing. Yeah, I understand, what do you mean by doing nothing? You will chill out for a few days, you will rest, you will watch movies, you will eat a lot of food, go to hotels, stay, and all that stuff. I understand. But doing nothing is the most challenging work if you don't understand that. Oh yeah. Doing nothing, that means that you have become a Zen. It means a zero state of mind. There's nothing, in your mind. And that's the most hardest thing to achieve. So that's the first question you got to answer in your all honesty. And when you answer that question, it will give you clarity. It'll give you what? Oh yeah, please type the word clarity, in the comment box, please. So the second question you got to ask to yourself is that what books, you like reading, and what you like learning in your free time. You can frame it in your own style, but what is that, brings curiosity, what topic, you get curious about, the couple of books you read and they were close to your heart and you thought, wow, what a great book it was. We are always inclined towards something, we're interested in. The books you have read, they were not accident, there was no coincidence. Everything happens in the universe for a reason. So maybe you need to sit back and, observe that why did I read Awaken the Giant Within, when I was, let's say, 22, 23 years old. And why do, I connect with this breakthrough experience, with Dr. John D. Martini's book? Or let's say, if you read Good to Great about business, you got to revisit and this thought, what made me, about this book kind of get intrigued about the book, or I still find it, interesting to read it one more time. Like Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think I've read it at least a couple of times in my life. And this is something you got to, do an introspection in your brain. And this is a very powerful exercise. I highly recommend when you sit down to do this, I hope, you do it in your zone. Like, we all have our zone, our learning zone, or like a meditative zone, or a zone, which is like a me time for us, or me, whatever that is for you. It has to be you, fully immersed and opening up to the possibility of what can be created in the future. How you see yourself 10 years down the line. What would you be doing? Where you would be, what kind of dresses you'll be wearing, what kind of car you'll be driving, what kind of house you will be living in, what kind of influences you will be creating for your clients or your students or your attendees, or what kind of product and services you will be, offering to the world. So those are very powerful statements I have shared. So come back, and revisit and think, why do I connect with this book so much? Or what is that, I love to learn or get involved and engaged in terms of learning. Now, see, learning cannot be only passive through a book reading. Like me, I read book in the past, but now I have got a new way of reading, which is listening to audio programs, watching videos of my mentors, on a regular basis. And is again kind of learning. So when I say reading book, I don't mean that just reading books. People might think, oh, I don't read books. Oh, whatever you tune into, in a video format or an audio format, that's what you are interested in. Okay. The third question, the powerful third question, which will lead you more close to your passion, is if you knew no one would judge you. Or you can reframe it this way, that if you know that failure is not an option, I repeat, if failure is not an option, what is that you would do in your life? Oh yeah. It's a very, very powerful question, my friend. Most people would not live their passion because they have this fear of failing. They have this fear of being, going through the judgment and the embarrassment of the people who matter in their life. Yeah, we do most of the things, for others, by the way. We want to make our loved ones proud of who we are and what we do, or to provide for them, food, shelter, domicile. So everything we do in our life is not for us, just the way we are designed. So if you knew that nobody's going to judge you, and you know in your heart that you're not going to fail, what is that one thing you would like to do in your life? What music would you create? What movies would you direct? What game would you play? Which country you would live in? What kind of book would you write? What kind of services you will provide? What product would you design? Well, yeah, if failure was not an option, what would you be doing? Very powerful question. I don't know if you understand this, my friend. This is where most passion die. This is where most people get stuck up and never make a single move towards their passion or something they're interested in. At times, the things you're interested in is just in front of you. The only thing you do is don't own it. You don't accept it. You have all these, barriers in your brain, in your mind, somewhere thinking, oh, I have to be that special somebody to probably start doing it. Oh, you start first. That's how a journey starts. A journey starts with a single step, which we will cover. And again, remember, it will depend on what kind of state you are in when you start answering these questions. And this is, my fear of kind of giving this out. Well, this is part of Discover Your Brilliance. It's a 3 days program, 3 days program which we run. Very intense, with a group of people who are very dedicated, and they give me complete permission to shake their world up in a very special way. So most of my students who come for Discover Your Brilliance, the whole world gets shaken up in a very special way. So I love this program. It's very close to my heart. This is the first program I curated almost 10 years back. So yeah, I have crafted, deleted, sorted, shifted, and have made it very special program. The fifth question, okay? Is there one thing you dreamt of doing, or being when you were a kid? That's correct. We all had some dreams, in our childhood. Now, I can tell you, obviously the version of that dream may change. In my initial days, I still remember, we used to live in a one-room house in Calcutta. And me, my sister, my mom and dad, 4 of us, we would sleep on the floor. We did not have something called a bed, inside our one-room house. We just had a rolling mattress. Obviously, you understand from most Indians, maybe if you're tuning in, it's called gadda. So my mom will roll out the gadda in the night, and in the morning she will roll it back, and put it on the side. And for a kitchen, we had a shed next to our room. And during rainy days, it would be very challenging, for my mom to cook because the water would always pouring in, So coming back, let's put it this way, I would sleep on the floor and I would look through the windows, and I would dream of becoming a top Bollywood star one day. Obviously, if you understand the deeper emotion behind being that superstar in Bollywood, which never happened because of wrong mentoring and coaching, then I wanted to become a cricket player after a year or so. And then I gave up on my dream because it was all wrong mentoring and coaching, which came in my life. So coming back deep down, if you look at the emotion, it was about doing something, significant. something substantial to give back to society. By playing cricket, make your country proud. Maybe by becoming an actor, obviously, do meaningful movies to inspire people. Maybe those were the deep down emotions. And eventually, somehow I landed on my passion of teaching others. When I was 17 years old, I would give tuitions, in my village to raise funds for my education. So when I started doing that, I realized, that I love being with people. I'm a people person, and I am not designed to, do coding. But that's what I did, by the way. It was not chosen by me. It was chosen for me, to go into IT. I was never made for IT. And by the way, guys, I'm the least IT Indian person you would know on planet Earth. And I've got no shame, saying that, because some people sometimes say, "Oh, you're an Indian, man. You should know this." No. My brain doesn't function that way, I'm a computer graduate, just by paper, not by profession at all. So coming back, there is something, you may have dreamt about in your childhood. So what was that, you wanted to be? And maybe if you can't be that exactly that person, like, maybe for me, I don't know, maybe it's late now to say that I would be a Bollywood star or a cricket player. But they say, never say never. But maybe, overall, if you look at the practicality of life, maybe cricket player, I don't know, maybe if I'm 50 plus and I might join a club of 50 plus, maybe that's something I can do. And for movie, who knows, I might act, in future and do some acting. But for now, coming back, but I'm still, I'm still living those emotions, of doing things for others, like a people person. So what is that, you enjoyed in your childhood that you can bring it back, in your life one more time again? Again, remember, it's not about money. And that's what most people go. That's where most people go. Whenever they think about doing something, they straight away connect with making money. Money is a byproduct of you becoming a master of your craft. Yeah, whatever that you're passionate in, when you achieve mastery, which is possible, if it is something you're really interested in, or if it is your true passion or purpose. Don't get caught up in the word just passion. Sometimes passion, I think, is overrated as a word, but it connects people. And understand that everything about passion is not going to be enjoyable. Yeah, well, there are parts of my passion of teaching I don't enjoy. It's tough process, but I have to go through it, to get to mastery. So mastery takes 10,000 average hours of deep practice, which I like to call training. When you are with a mentor and you look for the minute, higher distinctions, you walk on that path for average 10 years. With the help of a mentor, 10,000 hours of deep practice, you will become a master of that craft. But if it is not something you're passionate about, or it's your purpose or something you're really, really interested in, your rationals will give up. That's just the way you are designed. You cannot fight that. You design from the source that way. You will only hustle. You will only fight. You will only go forward against all odds for something you stand for as a cause, or as something you're very much interested in deep in your heart. You feel it. When you do that, like for me teaching, I lose track of time. I become one with the space most of the time when I'm teaching. My whole beingness lights up. Some people meet me normally, outside my teaching zone, and they think, are you the same person who was on stage? Like, you look the same, but there's something missing, there's a gap, maybe there's a vacuum here. Well, I just want to say, when I'm living my passion, I am the same person, but obviously a different version of me comes out. The sixth question you got to answer is that what made you give up on your dreams? Oh yeah, I can tell you, from my case, that it was my external conditions of being a taxi driver's son, living in a one-room house. We had a lot of financial difficulties. So I had to become this matured guy at a very early age to be the one, who would support, his father and not ask for more financial support and help. That's why, at the age of 17, I started giving tuitions to raise some funds to at least chip in, to what my father was giving me for my college fees or school fees. So coming back, what were your conditions? Maybe internally, I can tell you, I did not get the right mentors. All my mentors, if you don't know, by the way, you're always surrounded with mentors. For most people, it's your parents who are your first mentors. For some people, it could be your uncle, auntie, nanny, granny who brought you up. And then, your school friends or your early childhood friends, they are your mentors. Then your teachers in school who teach you for the first 7, 8, 10 years. Then your culture, your religion, your neighbors, your surrounding, your environment, everything, tells you how to show up in the world. What to do, what not to do, what you can do, what you cannot do. All these things, they actually give you something called a blueprint for life. For the first 7, 8, 10 years of your life, you get a blueprint, and that defines for most people their future. until unless somebody like me, decides to change it at the age of 25, 27, 29 by hiring or probably getting and finding a mentor who can show them a different way of, doing things. So coming back, what made you give up on your dreams? Was it the wrong mentoring? Was it, external environments? What was it? Your internal voices, your limiting beliefs? What is that thing which said, what, you cannot do it? It was you, by the way, but where did you get it from? That's the question. Your mother, father, your grandfather, your teacher, who told you that you cannot do it? Yeah, that's where you stopped. All the voices you have, it was not yours to begin with. What an irony of life. Okay, how could you bring that essence back into your life? And again, remember, I've already said this. You do not have to worry. That's what people do. Most people want to worry. Most people worry, before starting their passion that, oh, will it make money? You don't have to worry about it right now. I'm not saying you don't need money. You would require money to put food on the table, to pay for your monthly EMIs or mortgage, to pay the petrol for your car if you own one, to pay for your train, expenses or bus expenses, public transport, to buy some clothes in a year. I get that. But if you begin with that thought in mind, that am I making money with this passion? That's where most people stay mediocre. If you look at masters, they did not begin with saying, what, how do I get money out of my, the pocket of people? They started with the idea that how do I solve this problem? Because I'm passionate about solving this problem. And if I can solve this problem, there'll be a lot of people, who would like to do business with me. But their biggest intention was to serve people. Yeah, coming back, these are all the 7 questions which our advanced students at Discover Your Brilliance go through. And that's where I would like to leave you today. Make your passion your paycheck. And it could be purpose, or it could be something you're really, really interested in. So whatever your passion is, figure it out. And it says, don't settle. Keep searching.